Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how to make this top. So guys, we're starting with the back panel. So you can take your tape and measure from your shoulder to your, you know how where you want the back length to be, right? Just like on top of your butt, but like maybe add maybe 2 inches or more to it, right? Just how your normal top length would be. So it should. So guys, after that, so the length I'm working with here is still 24, but you see I marked out half an inch at the top here. I might still reduce it, but this is just to be safe, right? And then the next thing you're going to do, this is just, so the back is going to be a basic back bodice. There's no zipper, nothing. So the width I have here is my hip divided by 4, which is 12 plus 1, 13. So just go up to your shoulder after you've marked half an inch. Mark shoulder divided by 2, which is 8 for me. I'm going to come down one inch of shoulder slope. Guys, this is just a basic bodice we are marking here. And then the armhole divided by 2, which is somewhere at 9. Connect it all the way to this part here. Mark my bust divided by 4, like I said here. Give it a curve. And then add my 1 inch of seam allowance. I'm going to mark my waist to my hip. Sorry, my shoulder to my waist, which is at 17.5. And then I'm going to insert my waist measurement divided by 4. So whatever that is for you, go ahead and insert it. And then go ahead and add 2 inches to it, right? 1 inch of that in 1 inch of seam allowance. And then once that is done, you're going to also connect from this point here all the way to the bust. And then from the waist out like this, because now remember the length you have here, although it's not up to your hip, but it's going to almost serve like your hip measurement divided by my hip divided by 4 plus the 1 inch here, right? And then I'm just going to go ahead and connect it just like this, right? I hope you guys can see. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark my on this my waistline. I'm going to insert my dart. So my dart is going to be my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half. Mark it here. Bring it up again on this chest line, which is the armhole line. I'm going to mark the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and connect the two all the way down to the end of this here, just like this. Connect it all the way. And then I'm going to mark half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side. And then I'm going to connect it all the way to the chest line. Connect this other one. Just like that. And then the one for the bottom, I'm just going to connect it to the tip of it. So that's basically it for my back panel. So I'm just going to come to the neck, mark 3 inches. Like I said, it's just a base. I decided to start with this because it's the easy part, right? And then I'm going to connect it up neck width. I connected it to the 1 inch of shoulder slope. And then I'm going to also add half an inch at the tip, at the top part, which is the seam allowance here. Because it's princess that we're using in front. And the princess that in front is going to have the half an inch of shoulder measurement. So if you're going to do it in front, you have to do it at the back. If not, this one is going to pull it up if I don't add this half an inch here. So that's basically it. All I have to do now is to mark 1 inch of neck depth here. And that is it. So 1 inch from this part to this part. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at this top here. Cut it all the way and out. Guys, this is it here. I know you're looking at it like, what of the curve? Don't worry, when we go to the front, we'll cut the curve together. So just leave this the way it is, because remember at the back, if you look at it, you see that this part here, on her own, it came down this way, something like this, like a curve like this, right? Don't worry, we'll still cut it out. But in the meantime, just let the back be like this. You've traced this out, set it aside. Just know that this dart here, you're also going to transfer it on the other side, just the same way. So you're going to have 2 darts at the back. So let me set this aside. I'm moving on to the front. Now, guys, I know you're wondering how many yards you might need. Just say 2 yards or like 1.5, depending on your size though. The front is the one that is taking the most fabric. So now, what I have here is my for my front panel. So I'm going to walk you through how much fabric I have here on a fold. So like you can see, this is on a fold, right? And I hope you know that my back panel is also on a fold, right? is folded into two. So now what I'm going to do is just to the measurement I have here is my first. I have about 1.5 for the button. There's a button in front, right? So I have 1.5 there. So let me just mark like 1.5 here. So you're going to go mark 1.5 here for your button first, and then after that, the length, the next measurement that I have here, or you can just do 1 inch, because I feel like mine is even 1 inch or 1.25. After that, this is for the button. The next thing you're going to do is to measure and make sure that you have about your hip divided by 4, which for me is 12, and then plus extra 3 inches. That's what I have in total here. So if I add up everything, that is going to be about 16 or so, 16.5 or so. So basically your hip divided by 4 plus 3 inches, and then plus extra 1 for your button. You understand? So once you've done that, go ahead and mark half an inch at the top. And the length I have here, guys, I'm not going to make my own as long as our own. I'm not sure, but what I have here is 1.5, sorry. So it depends on you, but how you can determine the length is just measure from your shoulder to the longer tip of that the thing on at the end, right? So you can measure, that's the longer one, choose where you want it to be, because I decided to make mine 31 here. So the longer one might be at 31, and then the shorter one will be just above my hip, which is at 27. You understand? So I feel that is still okay, but you can just measure what length you would want. I'm going to go ahead and measure my shoulder divided by 2, and it's going to be 8, right? I'm going to come down here by 1 inch of shoulder slope. We're marking, remember what we're doing now is our princess dart, and all my measurements from now on is going to start from here, from after this line of our placket. I'm not going to insert this in my measurement. Let me show you again. When I did my shoulder divided by 2, my tape didn't start at the end. My tape started here, and I marked my 8 inches. I came down 1 inch of shoulder slope, and then I'm going to add my armhole, right? My armhole length here, sorry, which is here, right? And then I'm going to connect it back up to the top here. And then after that, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and mark from my shoulder here to my under bust, which is going to be somewhere at 15.5, which is this line here. So the lines I have here now, this is my under bust line, this is my waist line, and then this is my hip line, right? Put to nipple divided by 2 plus half an inch, starting from this line again, 4.5. Come back here again, mark the 4.5, go down to the bottom, put the same measurement, 4.5, and then I'm going to connect all the 3 together like this, going down. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to, so guys, I'm going to extend this line all the way. You see, I added my nipple line here. So let me walk you through this again. Shoulder to nipple line, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip. That's the line here. So now, after that, I'm going to extend this line all the way to the nipple line here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark. You can do, if you decide to do 2 inches for your dart, for your dart here, then you do, instead of doing 3 inches, you're going to do 4, right? But I don't want my princess dart too much, so I'm just going to use 1 inch for it. You can do 2 inches, that way it will help your cup, right? I'm going to just do 1 inch because I really don't want to do the princess dart, but that is what they have on the video, right? So I'm going to just mark 1 inch here, mark 1 inch here. There's 1 inch distance from after this my nipple to nipple line here, and then also mark the same 1 inch here. And do your normal princess dart of using like 2 inches, but I'm not doing 2 inches, I'm just doing 1. So I'm going to just mark it straight down, just like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is from this point to this nipple line, I'm going to give it a curve like this for my bust, right? Just like this, right? And then from here now, I'm going to go up to my chest line, insert my bust divided by 4, give it a curve from here, like this. And then I'm going to measure what the line I have here, find halfway through this line. So if I measure from my shoulder slope, right, and then to the curve of where my bust measurement it is, so it's at 11, so that is 5.5, somewhere here, halfway through. So from this point here all the way to this point, from here all the way to this point is 11, so to this half of it is going to be 5.5, which stops here. So now I'm going to connect from here now to this line here, to this point here, you understand? Just like that. And then after that, I'm going to do I'm going to do 0.75 above, 0.75 below. And then I'm going to connect both of them to the center here. And then I'm also going to connect the one above also. And then once it's done, the next thing I'm going to do is to, the lower line, I'm going to extend it up by like 1.5. Depending on what you use, whatever you use here, if you decided to do 1 inch for your normal princess, that for a bigger person, you are going to extend it by 2 inches, right? So once I've extended this by 1.5, I'm going to then bring it down again into this line of my armhole, just like that. You see? So this lower line now is now my new the new line for the bottom part of my armhole. So now, guys, our princess that is ready. All we have to do is just to go ahead and start inserting our measurements. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my bust divided by 4, which I've already done here. Okay, so my bust divided by 4, I've already marked it. And then I'm going to take whatever measurement I have here, which is like half an inch, add it back here. And then I'm going to add 2 inches for my seam allowance here. The 1 inch is going to serve for joining the center part, and then the other 1 inch is going to serve as the side seam. After that, you're going to come down to your waist divided by 4. So whatever it is, go ahead and mark it. And then add back this 1 inch that you have here. And then add back your 2 inch of seam allowance. After that, you're going to, guys, remember this is my waistline. On the waistline, do your waist divided by 4, mark it. Add back this 1 inch, because you're going to be cutting off this 1 inch of that in here. Add it back and then insert 2 inches of seam allowance, right? And then you're going to go ahead and mark that. After that, you're going to go down to the hip. Remember, all your measurements are starting here. Hip divided by 4. Add back this 1 inch here. And then your 2 inches of sewing. You see? So that is basically it. All I have to do now is just to connect from my waist all the way to the hip. Just like this. Just like this. And then I'm going to connect from the hip all the way to the bust. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is to go up to this part here and insert my neck, my 3 inch for the neckline. Mark it here. And then I'm going to connect the shoulder slope, just like we did before at the back. Mark half an inch at the top of it, just like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert my, for the front, you're going to do, remember what we normally do for the front is neckline of 3 inches, right? Your basic 3 inch neckline. Mark it first. But if you look at her neckline, it's somehow, it's like after the 3 inches, there's another, give it a curve here. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is, from this point here, I'm going to go in by like, let's say 1.5 inch, right? So 1.5 inch from the end here. Mark it. And then I'm going to create another neckline from that point, you understand? So I'm going to go down again and do another 2.5 inch. That is okay. And that is going to be the second neckline, just like that. This is what her neckline looks like from the video. It's like the first one came down and then the second one came down. But this second one that came down, if you want, you can do 3 inches here, because this second one really came down a lot. So you can do 3 inches here, but the first one 2.5, right? So, or you can still do 3 inches on both of them. It depends on you. So I'm going to bring down mine a little bit more to 3 inches, right? So the next 3 inches neckline is here. It's my seam allowance for my button. What I did was my first neckline, how we normally create neckline, 3 inches, right? I created 3 inches of neckline, 3 inches of neck depth, right? Or 2.5. After that, you're on the line of this my 3 inches of neckline. I came in by 1.5. Or if you want, you can't do 2 inches, because if you do almost 2 inches, it will get to the end here, because remember here is a curve, right? So I'm going to just do 1.5, and then after that I'm going to come down again another 3 inches on that line, and then give it the second curve. You understand? So came down from this point to this point like 3 inches, and that is the second neckline. So I'm going to open it up wide, and then I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. But before I cut, I'm going to go back and see the neckline again, just to be sure that it's exactly like what. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. See this part here is like you cut off your first big neckline, and then you cut off the small neckline. You see, first one, second one. That's why you have this step down here. So now you're going to go ahead and split open the front, because this is going to be a button down, like I said before, right? So now you're going to start to add in the shape at the bottom part, and also to add in the curve, right? So I'm going to go back in and place this the way it is, right? Just like this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to take my back panel and place on top like this. And then I'm going to use the armhole as my landmark to know where it's supposed to be. So basically it's supposed to be somewhere here. This line here of the end is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here by 2 inches, right? 2 inches from the end of this here, 2 inches. So I'm going to mark it on this one here, and also mark it on my back, on my front panel. So let me set this, move it away like this here. So this is it here. I marked 2 inches from the edge here, came up 2 inches here, and then I'm going to curve it into this part here like this, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it off just like that. So guys, this is our back panel. Nothing else will be done to the back. We've cut off the excess that we're saying we'll come back to cut off. So this is the shape of that back. It's done. So let us set it aside. And then we mark, both of them are not the same length, right? So like I said before, I would want one to go all the way to the like this point here. If you see this line here, this is the line of where the length of my back panel is. Like the side that we cut off, it's like at this point here. So the next thing I would do now is just to go ahead and mark where I want it to be. Guys, you can do this when it's still together, because it might start moving around now, but I've already started cutting mine. So what you're going to do is you're going to, so guys, one of them I'm going to mark it all the way to the I'm going to extend one all the way to the hip line, and then the second one I'm going to extend it to the length of the dress, like I said before. So from the side you're going to extend it, but guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it the way it is first, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and join it together, and then when I bring it back and after ironing it, I'll be able to do that. You understand? So let me go ahead and notch the side where the two lines are going to start, and then I'm going to go ahead and trace this on the lining and join it together, and then I'll come back and cut it, because if I cut it now, it might be all over the place. So let me go back in, join this. So you're going to take it the way it is now, trace out lining. Remember, this one will have 2 pieces, each of them 2 pieces of each of them. And then when you come back, after that, you're going to take it like this and join it by the center here. Just like this, take it, join it by the center here for each of them. After joining it, then we are going to come back in and cut what you need to cut. You see it here? Like what I was saying was, you go ahead and join your 2 panels together. I joined it together, joined my lining together, and then I just joined it by the center. So all the seams by the center towards the neckline, and stopped at the shoulder. That's all I did. So if I close it back now, you'll see I only joined this end here all the way to this point. So this part here is going to overlap to form the button, right? It's going to overlap like this, you see? And we've already formed that neckline that looks like it came down like this and then went down. Guys, now I'm looking at it and thinking maybe I should have brought mine down a little bit more. But this is okay like this, you understand? It depends on you what you want. You can always just take yours down and do like 4 inches for the lower one, I'm thinking maybe I could have done 4 inches. I can still go away. So now what we're going to deal with is to shape it. So it depends on you. Now you're going to pick the side you want to have the longer one, the side you want to have the shorter one. And then what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead, go from your shoulder first. Let's determine, because this center part too, you're going to shape it. You're going to determine where you want your button to stop, right? So I would say, okay, I'm going to take away 1/2 inch from the shoulder, and then let's say I decide to stop. My waist is at 17. So let's say I decide to stop at 20.5. This 0.5 will be my seam allowance, so I'm stopping at 20. So that will be somewhere here, right? I'm just going to mark it on 1. As I marked it here, so this is where the front panel is going to stop, the bottom part. And then the next thing I'm going to do, this is the side of it, right? So what I'm going to do is, let's say this is the side where I want, so this is my hip line. My hip line is somewhere here. So let's say this is the side I want to stop at the hip, right? So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead now, go from this point here, and then I'm going to connect it. I don't know if this 20 is too much or if I should have reduced it more, but let's just see. So I'm going to go from here now and then go down and stop somewhere here. And then also take this one from the side. Remember, you're supposed to mark the side where your side is going to stop, and then drop it down. Guys, if you remember, I said I didn't want mine to be too I didn't want it to drop a lot, you understand? But if you want yours to have to be more pointier than this, you can always do that. And then I'm going to also go to this other side now and mark it. So this is the line again on this side here. This is the one that I want to go all the way to the end. What I'm going to do, this is also the line from the side. So from the side, it's going to drop down here. And then on this other side now, it's going to go. So I'm going to bring it in. So I'm going to try to do it like just after where my dart is, right? I'm going to make sure like 1 inch away from my dart is going to be the line, the pointy part. In case if you're wondering, so which line are you going to use here? Just 1 inch away from my dart. Or if you want, you can use your dart as the line, like the pointy part here. It depends on you. So from my center line now, I'm going to just mark all the way down. You can use your ruler if you want to this point. So you see this one goes down like this, and then this one comes down this way, just like that. So you see I've marked mine. I know it's not looking like as pointy as how her own is, but something I just remembered now, before you even do the bottom part, try to go in 1 inch. Don't go directly from the tip of your bottom. Go in at least 1 inch from the bottom and then stop, because remember this is going to overlap each other. So at least you want to go in 1 inch, and then after when you've gone in 1 inch, then you can angle it into the line. You understand? So let me do it also on this side. After I've marked where I want it to be, that's from my shoulder to like 20.5. I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch, and then after that 1/2 inch, I'm going to then take my ruler or anything and then just rule it into this line. You understand? Because these two parts will overlap each other. So now I'm going to, when I go to cut it, I'm just going to cut straight into this line and down to this point and up. Do the same on this other side, straight into this line, down to this point and out. So that when I go to turn it over with my lining, the same thing is what when I go to sew it, I'm going to first go in by 1 inch in, and then go down and back up again. You see what it looks like I was telling you, this is it here. So you're going to go in 1 inch, sorry, why I keep saying 1/2 inch. Come in 1 inch and then go down. Go this side also 1 inch and then go down. This 1 inch, the two of them will overlap each other to form your button placket, button hole, and then the button itself. And then you have this thing. Guys, if you want, you can extend yours to be. So that's basically it. So let me go back now to the sewing machine. I'm going to take my shoulder to the shoulder here, join it like this. The same lining, you can also turn this one with your lining. Use 1/2 inch to join the bottom part, join the shoulder, and then just join it like this. And what you're going to do is that you're going to, for the front, you're going to, after you've joined the shoulder, you're going to take it like this. Turn it to the wrong side like this. So what you're going to do next is just to pin it down and then go from here. Come in 1/2 inch here, go down to the end, come back up again, just like that. Then you're going to do the same on the other side, join the shoulder to the shoulder, and then this is what I'm using for my basic sleeve. The length I have here is about 10 inches, right? I'm going to come down here by 4 inches for my cap height. rule a straight line from here to here. I'm going to find halfway through that, which is here, and then I'm going to give it a curve above and then a curve below. Down here you're going to put in your sleeve width divided by 2, and then add 1 inch of sewing allowance. Connect the two of them together like this. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this off, and I have my sleeve. So I'm just going to take my sleeve, insert it here, couple everything together, and bring it back so you guys can see. So guys, this is what it looks like here. I'm done. So I just basically went ahead and added my button and then the buttonhole. So I just have to split this open, and then I can be able to button this, and that is it. So guys, I was looking at her own, and I saw that this hair was not by the center. It's as if like once she came in 1 inch, she kept her hand straight. So if you would want to replicate like her own, just come in here. Once you do that 1 inch, don't angle it like making a triangle on this end. Just keep your hand straight on one end, and then the second one, I think the longer one is the one she now angled this way, but the shorter one she just kept her hand straight. And also you might want to make yours longer because mine is quite short. So this particular thing, these two things here, you might extend yours, because remember I used like 31, so you might want to do 36 on this side, and then this side I did about 27, so here you might want to do 30. Other than that, our neckline, every other thing remains the same. And then this is the back here, you see, just like a simple back here. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.